Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers of this generation, but there's always been a glaring problem with him as the face of the company. After CM Punk left in 2014, I was really heartbroken. CM Punk is my favorite wrestler of all time. So after he left and everything that had happened, I really didn't know who to gravitate towards after it. I was never really a big Cena fan, although as I gotten older, I've learned to appreciate his greatness. But as a kid in 2011, CM Punk was just that guy. The promos he was cutting, the matches he was having, I was a CM Punk guy growing up. But I was always a fan of The Shield, and I loved all three equally. Seth was always the one that stood out to me most. I just felt like I gravitated towards him more than everybody else in the group. Like, I remember back in 7th grade, I used to think Seth Rollins was the greatest wrestler of all time. That 2015 amazing heel run he had after he turned on The Shield was peak. The character work, the aura he had, he was just undeniable. Like, I just feel like 2015 Seth Rollins, we got to put his jersey up in the rafters because that was a phenomenal run. He won Money in the Bank and then became the first man to ever cash in at WrestleMania, winning the world title. That SummerSlam match he had with John Cena is one of my favorite Seth Rollins matches ever. And the triple threat match between Brock, Cena, and Rollins at the Royal Rumble. Despite how talented he was, Seth never really felt like the guy, like an Austin or Cena, Hogan or Rock, or even Roman. It always kind of felt like Seth was always a tier below the actual main eventers. In 2015, when he was WWE champion, who felt more important as the guy? Seth as the world champion or John Cena as the United States champion? The answer is John Cena as the United States champion. Cena as the mid-card champion felt more important than Seth Rollins as the main champion of Raw. Whenever Seth Rollins is the face of the company or they make him as the #1 guy, things just never really go well. I mean, we can go all the way back to 2019 where things were at an absolute low for WWE and the product. WWE was literally unwatchable in 2019. Bad storylines, terrible segments, no real interesting characters. Vince was completely out of touch at this time, and he killed a lot of people's love for wrestling, including mine. Like, I completely stopped watching wrestling as a whole in 2019. But when Seth Rollins was Universal Champion in 2019, and was the face of WWE during the worst period in company history, Becky Lynch was also the WWE Women's Champion on Raw as well. And WWE tried pairing Seth and Becky up as a team, which failed miserably. Like, the cringe, awkward segments, like, I don't even like thinking about that stuff because it is so just cringe and awkward. Like, they literally had no on-screen chemistry when they put them together. And you got Seth walking around with a shirt that says "The Man's Man." It's just like, oh my God. Oh man, it was just bad. It was just bad. He was the Universal Champion, feuding with Baron Corbin for like 6 months. That did not do him justice. And it really did put a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. And a lot of blame has to go on Vince. I'm not saying everything is 100% Seth's fault, but booking does play a factor in a lot of things that happened to Seth during his time at the top. Especially after The Fiend Bray Wyatt debuted his new character, he was the hottest superstar in WWE, and it was not even close. Rollins actually got into a Twitter exchange with Will Ospreay during this time as well, basically calling Will Ospreay broke, flexing his money, which caused even more people to turn against him. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This was low-key kind of beast. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he basically called Will Ospreay broke-ass nigga, basically. It was kind of beast. I kind of liked it. I liked the toxicity, but it made a lot of people turn on Seth because why are you the Universal Champion arguing with somebody on Twitter that doesn't even work in your company? Kind of immature. But that wasn't it. The straw that really broke the camel's back was the Hell in a Cell match against The Fiend. This Hell in a Cell match is the worst match of all time. Like, it's up there with Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania 40. This set wrestling back at least 30 years and completely killed Seth Rollins' entire momentum as a babyface. Like, this match alone, think of you're playing WWE and you got extended finisher zone and you just spam your finisher the whole match. That's basically what this match was. Seth did 11 curb stomps while Bray kicked out of all of them. The match ended in a DQ. A Hell in a Cell match ended in a DQ. The fans were chanting for the ref to restart the match, and they started chanting AEW. They started to chant the rival promotion's name. This is how you know the company was at an all-time low. Could you imagine watching WWE and the fans just start chanting TNA, TNA? Like, dude. It was reported that Seth actually wanted to get into a fight with Vince after this match. Fast forward to now, Raw and SmackDown ratings are the lowest it's ever been. Guess who's at the forefront of the company when WWE is at an all-time low again at viewership? Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Listen, I'm not trying to point the finger here. I'm just pointing out the facts. I just think it's very, very ironic. Whenever WWE is at an all-time low, Seth and Becky are usually at the forefront. That's all I'm saying. Becky isn't world champion, but she is the women's intercontinental champion. She's booked as the world champion, if that makes sense. Like, Becky gets a lot of segments, a lot of screen time, a lot of good storylines. So it's like she's basically the world champion without the world championship belt, if that makes sense. I mean, after Clash in Paris, Becky Lynch put out a tweet saying, "We run this business." So, I mean, yeah, we run this business and the viewership is at an all-time low. Ain't it crazy? But I'm just saying, Whenever Seth Rollins is the face of the company along with Becky Lynch, the viewership does tank. And you can say it's booking, it's booking, it's booking. I get it. But at some point, you got to turn lemons into lemonade. You can't always blame the booking on everything. Like you gotta take some of the responsibility. And it just all comes down to Seth Rollins is just, he's not that guy. He's not that main event guy. He is not a draw. Seth Rollins is not a draw. And I'm not a guy that tries to use numbers and statistics. I think that's pretty corny. If you try to say, oh, this person, he's a bigger draw than you, that's why he's better than you. I hate that argument. I think it's stupid and I think it's dumb. At the end of the day, why do you care about somebody else making somebody else money? You should care about how they make you feel in that ring and what stories are they telling and what matches are they happening. That's the only thing as a fan you should care about in wrestling. You ain't seeing a damn dime of that money. So why do you care how much money this dude is making somebody else, okay? When you look back at the road to WrestleMania, when Roman cut that promo, oh my God, this was burial. This was literally burial. But he aged well. Roman Reigns was right about Seth. He said that Seth broke his back trying to carry this company and called Seth the secondary champion. Like, that's the B tier title. When Roman was champion and Seth was champion, you know who the A champion was. It was not Seth. It was Roman. Seth is a workhorse. He cares a lot about the business. We know this. He's one of the best wrestlers of this generation, even though I do think he's overrated now. But you still cannot deny this man's talent. Some people just have it, and Seth Rollins just doesn't have it to be the main character of a company. He's Robin, Roman is Batman, basically. Like I hate to try to compare and stuff, but it's the truth. Like they gave him faction after faction after faction. Rollins beat Punk and Roman at Mania and sided with Heyman to make a group division, and it's failed again. Another Seth Rollins faction that has failed. Post WrestleMania, Seth Rollins cut the same promos for 6 months straight. Literally, I'm the future. I'm the future. I'm the future. Like, dog, you was the future 11 years ago. We've heard this shit for 11 years. How can you still call yourself the future if you're 40 years old with no knees? Like, I don't understand that. And now Seth Rollins is injured. Supposedly. I mean, I don't even believe a word that comes out of this dude's mouth anymore, because after the shit he pulled at Saturday Night's main event and then he cashed in at SummerSlam, I don't believe nothing he says until I see a picture of him in a hospital bed getting surgery or an x-ray. I'm not believing nothing this man says. Although it's not Rollins' fault, but Seth always does get injured whenever he's the face of the company as well. Happened in 2015 when he blew his knee out at a house show. Who remembers that? When Seth blew his knee out at a house show against Kane trying to do a sunset flip powerbomb. Now, at Crown Jewel, Seth did a coast-to-coast headbutt, landed on his shoulder. The reports are saying that Seth broke his shoulder and he's going to need surgery and he's going to miss WrestleMania now. And it's all a mess. It's all a mess. And I'm seeing reports that Jacob Fatu was injured and he's going to miss WrestleMania. Like, this is just crazy. Everybody's getting injured. I don't know, man. And now the vision is broken up. So we can look back and say that they didn't really benefit anybody. Yeah, you can sure he got more eyes on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, but who did it really benefit in the long run? Seth was the champion. Seth was Money in the Bank. It was all to put Seth over. It wasn't really like putting over Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. What did they do in 6 months? Did they win any championships? Did they win any meaningful matches? Did they have any cutthroat, deep, hard-hitting promos they cut? Any story they told? No, they didn't do nothing. They wrestled the Usos for 6 months. WWE is backed in the corner now. They got to do a lot of hard pivots because Seth is injured and he was the top guy on Raw. So I really want to see what they're going to do with the belt. Are they going to belt up LA Knight? Belt up CM Punk? Braun Breaker? I don't know. This makes Raw extremely more interesting now that Seth is injured. That might sound bad, but you know, as Seth is injured, you don't know who's going to be champion now. So that makes Raw extremely more interesting and makes it must see. You want to know what's happening on Raw now because Seth isn't there. That doesn't take away from the fact that Seth Rollins is extremely talented. He has broken his back plenty of times for this company. He's a workhorse. I love Seth Rollins, but as the main event guy in the Big 25, I just don't really care to see it. It's not good. Everything has been boring. The viewership is tanked for a reason, and he's not really doing anything significant to really grasp the viewer's eye. Like, he hasn't done anything to really make me care about him in years. I've moved on. Like, I don't really care. I don't even care about Cody either. Please. I would much rather see people like Ilya Dragunov, Javon Evans, Obafemi, you know, people that are actually the future of the company instead of the people that's been shoved down our throats for the last 11 years.